Hi, how was your 2025? Was it exciting? Was it happy? Did you draw a lot of the things you wanted to draw, or did you miss a few goals? I know I did. I missed quite a few goals and I also achieved quite a few of them. And on this video, I'm going to talk about my 2025 journey as an independent comic book artist. If you're new, hi again. I'm Nicole. I'm an independent comic book artist, and on this channel I talk about my experience and journey as a comic book artist. I talk about my comics themselves, the characters, the plot, the world building, and when fitting I also share ways that I make my comics, like my own workflow, my own tips and tutorials, if that counts. But heavily it's just about me talking as an independent comic book artist on YouTube. And if you're not new, thank you for coming back and Happy New Year to all of you. That said, let's jump into the video. From January to March, I was mostly just focusing on the rebranding of my personal brand as an independent comic book artist. I graduated in a master's of brand management, and that helped me realize that if I ever want to take the whole being a independent comic book artist seriously and possibly start making a living of it, I need to start working on the brand. I need to start working on what actually I want to do with my skills, what type of comic books I want to create, what type of community I want to build. And I use the skills that I learned in my master's to kind of start working on my own personal brand as an independent comic book artist. And it was tough. I am still to some extent tweaking the foundations I already set, but I am nevertheless very grateful for the foundations I set because I know it's gonna guide me to the way I conduct myself when it comes to treating my comics and my skills as a way to build a community, to build a recognizable brand. So everyone has a brand, right? Everyone has a personal brand, the way you're known, the way you're seen or perceived. And I want to build the foundations that will help me stay consistent with that. And I was pretty much able to March. And January to March. And from April to May, I was promoting my first one-shot comic called Dinia, which you can read for free on my website. I am yet to post it on Instagram, at least fully. So I'm gonna do that soon. And that was pretty much it. I was promoting Binia, and since it was my first time actually promoting a comic, even if it was a one-shot comic, I kind of focused on introducing the main characters of the one-shot comic, and one by one, just one day I posted one person and the other day I posted another one. And also for this comic I tried to focus on conveying the feeling and mood of the comic as a whole through posts on Instagram. So like little things that show the kind of vibe the comic was about, especially because the comic has no color. It's like a monochromatic kind of thing, black and white going on. Because it was my first time doing a comic of this sort, and I didn't want to be distracted or overwhelmed by colors. So I just focused on knowing how to do the whole comic in a short amount of pages. Because I have a big story in my head, which I'm working on, and I'll talk more about that later. But I don't really know how to make short stories, and this kind of help with that. So that was April to May, and then for some reason from June to August I pretty much did nothing. Well, at least nothing in the sense of I didn't draw anything. I guess I was really overwhelmed or worked hard from trying to post every day in the months of April to May that I kind of had to take a step back and reflect on what I actually want to do and how I want to approach the marketing of my page, of my personal brand as an independent comic book artist, how I wanted to promote my comics. And I realized I can't do it daily. I really can't. I don't have it in me. I don't know how people do. Maybe maybe when it comes to reels, I could pull that off. But when it comes to posts, especially seeing that one of the values of my brand is integrity in craft, in the sense that I want to be really authentic with the stuff I do. I want to not necessarily put my all, but just put my all. And I don't think I will be able to do that if I was trying to post a fully done illustration every single day on Instagram. I'll burn out. I'll burn out. And also, my another value of mine is to keep things simple, simplicity. Like, I don't need to complicate it. I don't really need to complicate the marketing of it all. So I need to kind of like take a step back and really think how I want to approach this. But I did do something in that period. I was focusing on my second one-shot comic called Daisy's Rescue, which you can also read for free. Yay! On my website, on Instagram, and on Global Comics. I found out about Global Comics. I forgot how, but I figured I could try to see how I could make it work for me, because there are so many independent comic book artists out there that it's a kind of saturated market, but nothing to kind of like just give up or anything. I have no intention of giving up whatsoever. So I was trying to see if I could use a well-known platform, or an already established platform, to kind of establish my own brand, so that people that tend to go there monthly can kind of just go to the awareness phase of my brand and know like, hey, this artist is posting here, and then possibly go to my other platforms such as Instagram and preferably my website, because that's where I intend to primarily post my comics. So the intention is to start with the website, then go to the external platforms that are not my own, such as Instagram and Global Comics. I don't think I'll adapt any other social media. I'm not so sure yet, but yes, that's what I pretty much did. There's this comic I started promoting there, and that was pretty much fun. And in September, and I did start promoting. I was working on the on the comic itself. In September is when I started promoting the comic on Instagram, and it was also kind of showing the main character, which is this little girl who is pretty much the scene of the story is simple. It's very, very simple. She's this little girl who's in an amusement park with a whole bunch of contract assassins trying to take her home, because whoever gets to take her home wins a certain amount of millions of euros. This was when I was working. I was still studying in Germany, so euros. And that's pretty much the premise of it. So it's a bunch of people. We just see like short pages of people doing their best to be the person to take her home. So that's why it's Daisy's Rescue. And I really like it because it has colors. This one has colors, so I was happy about that. And in October was highlighted by me drawing a hound. And a hound is a nickname for one of the five main characters, actually for all of the five main characters of my major story, the one I intend to focus on in 2026. And that hound was Harry. I drew Harry. It was very simple side profile of Harry, but it really made me happy. Like, it made me incredibly happy, because I hadn't drawn a single hound, not him and not the other four, in over a year. Like, over a year, like the whole of 2024, I didn't draw him. Like, okay, maybe not the whole, but a good chunk of it. And most of 2025, I didn't draw him or any of the other four. And drawing him kind of reconnected me to the 2022, 2021 Nicole, who finally made some sense of this major story she had in her head. And she she finally realized that, goodness, these characters are coming to life and they sound so cool. They kind of merge my love for action and drama, my love for fights, big battles, people jumping here, guns blazing, everything, and also my love for dramatic moments, moments of realizations, moments after the fight when everyone can breathe, when feelings can be felt, when it finally dawns on people what has happened or what is taking part. I love the blend of those situations. And think of a story that kinda revolved around this fight really made me happy back then. And then I got sucked up with writing the story, because it's all fun and games when you have the story in your head and the characters sound fun, you have musics for them, you imagine them in different scenarios, but then making that all into a story, it's crazy. It's fun. I love writing, but it's crazy. And I guess that kind of like got me locked in on writing the plot, that I didn't draw the characters much. But in October, I finally found the drive to draw one of them, and that was Harry. And I remember it made me so happy. October was amazing because of that. Yes, I was still promoting Daisy's Rescue, but October was October was amazing because of that. I simply love it. I love my hounds. I love them. I love them all. And then in November, it was that's when I started promoting my last one shot comic, the one I'm currently working on right now. And I should have finished it in December, but I couldn't, and that's one of the goals I missed. But I'm happy with how it's turning out, and I started promoting it. I also started kind of like finishing the plot for, I mean, kind of having more of an idea of what I want my plot, the end of my plot to look like for this major story, which is quite complex, as you can imagine. There are five main characters, all very important, like all of them very important. So we need to kind of like look at their life separately and their life together, because they are a team. And then you have more than 20 side characters, like who are also very important for the plot. I mean, just pretty much 14 or something of them are super important for the last six or something major plot points. So that has been something. I have been writing it. I've been working on the story for way too long. If I'm not mistaken, this is gonna be my fourth year of working on that story, from the conception of like coming up with the idea of the character and so forth, all the way to the end. And I'm gonna tell more about this in the next video, like my goals for 2026, my vision for the story and so forth. But yes, November and December was pretty much me just working on my last one shot comic, promoting it. I did start promoting it. I have the character, she's out there, and I still have to promote it. I've been kind of idling, which is a problem I have, and I'm working on it. And that's pretty much been my 2025 journey. That said, if I had to choose three things to highlight that I really loved about it, was the rebranding. I love that style, rebranding my personal brand like that. And I'll also say finishing Daisy's Rescue, because it was my first comic, even if it was a short one, that I used colors and they all looked very harmonized. Like, it gave me a confidence boost that I have what it takes to finish a full color comic. Yes, it might take me, I don't know how long, but I didn't think I could pull off coloring a comic in a way that would look cohesive. So doing Daisy's Rescue showed me that I can do this, I can do this. And it also helped me familiarize myself with the Clip Studio Paint software, because I was used to Procreate before my iPad broke. Well, I broke my iPad, but yeah. So that was that. And then the last highlight would be drawing Harry, a hound, which makes me very happy. And that said, let's go now to the goals I'm carrying from 2025 to 2026. More of like the lessons, not the goals, the lessons I'm carrying from 2025 to 2026. And the first one is I shouldn't take myself too seriously. I don't think I've ever truly did, but I think this time I was kind of too much in my head, especially when it came to the rebranding thing. And it's kind of complex because when you learn about branding and brand management, you're thinking of more of like physical organizations. Yes, we talk about corporate branding, personal branding, different types of branding. There's countless types of branding. But I guess in my head, I was really focused on B2B branding, B2C type of branding, marketing, communications, and whatnot, because those are the companies we work with. So I was not used to a personal branding, especially when it comes to comics, because at the end of the day, I would want to sell, if I do take this seriously as a career path, I would want to sell the comics. And I'm like, how do you do branding for comics? How do you do branding for comics? So I had to kind of figure that out. I took myself too serious with that, but I for 2026 I don't want to do that much. It is supposed to be, I believe. So I've already set the foundations. I'm tweaking. You always get new ideas. It's just kind of like trying to remind myself at the end of the day, I am the brand. Yes, it's about my comics and the community I want to build, but I'm the one kind of like driving this whole situation. So, yes. And the second lesson I learned is to make things exist first and then make them better. Because one thing I have to tell you with the plot for the story I'm working on, the major one, is that I really tried to nail everything in the first go. I don't know why. I've written stories before. I have started and finished stories where I didn't really have a plan. I didn't really have a plot. I was just writing as I went, and I was like, why am I focusing too much now? Like, I'm getting too much in my head. I'm researching all the time, and I'm like, you know what? Just write whatever comes to your mind. When you are editing and you see that this doesn't make sense, at least it's there, so you know that idea doesn't work. So that's how I've been trying to tell myself, just make it happen, and then we can polish it and make it beautiful or whatever. That's the second lesson I'm taking this year. The other one is my race, my lane, my pace. I I don't work in the type of rhythm or schedule that allows me to post one full colored comic chapter every week. I am not that person. I have tried, I have seen, I'm not the person. I take rests, I take breaks, I have a procrastination issue I'm working on. And I just don't know how people are that kind of person. They are built different. Everyone is built different. So I really, for this thing, is my own race. I am racing with not other than myself. Myself from 2025. I want to beat her. Okay, she did amazing things, but she also was kind of idling and just being about. And I want to beat that woman. I want to beat her. So it's my own race, my own lane, my own pace. I'll make things work for me. To each their own. The other lesson I'm taking is to implement storytelling into everything I do. Um, and that goes from the way I communicate to the way I draw my stuff. I want more intention into my art pieces and the way I do my marketing. And this, yes, this is influenced by the fact that storytelling is a good way to drive a message. I mean, I do comics. I watch films, I watch series, and they drive messages to storytelling. It just depends on the medium and whatnot. And I have a message to drive. I have a message which is buy my comics, read my comics. That's pretty much what I want to do. Please read my comics, and within these comics, they also have their own message, which I also have to communicate through storytelling. So it's kind of more practicing the whole storytelling situation, not just leaving it for the comic pages, but also implementing the way I communicate and everything else about my brand and my comics. And I would say, am I missing anything? Am I missing any other lesson? I believe I am, but that's something from 2027, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. That said, that's the end of this video pretty much. And I would just like to say 2025 was an eventful year. A lot of great things happened, but a lot of things also did not happen. Yes, because I procrastinated, and I intend to change that, be a little bit more intentional and more proactive. So that's pretty much it. God willing, Lord, please hear me. 26 is going to be amazing. Yes, there are a lot of things outside of my artistic self that are happening, and I guess they're bound to give me some sort of anxiety or overwhelm me a bit. I hope not. I mean, I do have to get a job, but yes. Um, but I, as an artist, I am trusting that 2026 is going to be an amazing journey. I intend to be more intentional. I am going to be more intentional. I am going to finish my plot. I'm going to do all that I set out to do. And I trust that you're going to do it too. I am rooting for all of us to do what we tend to do with our comics, with our art skills. And they may be for the good, obviously. If you did something that's meant for evil, don't do it. Don't just do it. I'm not rooting for you. I'm not. That said, go and create your comic. Have a great day, and God bless you. Oh, also, if you like this video, please leave a like, comment. What are your expectations for the year as a comic book artist or any other artist if you're not a comic book artist yourself? And bye.